Okay, everybody, ready to get started? We just flipped on the AC. We were waiting on one, so hopefully the one shows, but we do know everybody has a schedule, so thank you for being patient, but we are gonna get this show on the road and honor these young men and women who did such a fine job over the last 20 weeks. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This is the second graduating class of the Matrix Trade Institute, so quickly I'll introduce my partner, Rick Bloom. Rick is responsible for everything that gets taught around here, okay? I'm just the guy that stands up here and talks every once in a while. I am Dustin Peugeot. I want to introduce you to our instructor staff, James Azre, Rick DeTillo, Jamie Von Segern, and then Scott Clemson is our new collision repair and finish curriculum. We'll be adding body shop training to our portfolio. Bridget First is our student services and admissions director. She handles a lot of the fine print and making sure that everybody is up to speed on their certifications and all of the things that we have to make sure to dot the I's and cross the T's. And then Christina LaGrasso is our marketing director to make sure that we put on a good face and help everybody help us to grow an institution that we really feel is designed to help young men and women achieve their goals in the field that they really wanted to achieve those goals. And so you all are a part of that, and you all are a big reason why this all happens and will continue to happen. So for that, we thank you. And just a tiny bit of background, 20 weeks ago, I don't think anybody in this class knew each other. And it's a pretty diverse group from logistics. Heck, we had a young man from, well, I don't know, Suk, you're not that young, from Nepal, okay, to Parma, all the way to the northeast side and all the way to the west side. So we had an interesting group of 14 people come together, and those first few days it was a little quiet, okay? But I can tell you that this group really gelled, and we saw a camaraderie and a family atmosphere that they developed on their own that we hadn't seen before. And so you're all to be congratulated for your willingness to accept each other, support each other, push each other, kick each other in the butt every once in a while when you need it, and most of all, attack this opportunity with a level of pride and respect that will serve you well going forward. So a round of applause to the families who support each other. We run this program like it's a job. We start at 8 o'clock, and if you're not here at 8 o'clock, we're starting anyways. And we do that to prepare our trainees who are now our graduates for what real life in a advanced repair shop is going to be like. So there are days when you're not feeling so good. There are days when sleeping in sounds a lot better. There are days when the weather's not so great. But this group did a nice job of persevering, overcoming some personal obstacles, and I'm proud to say that everyone made it through, and we graduated 100% of this class. So again, so congratulations for sticking this out, because if you can get through this program, I promise you that while the hard work is just beginning with your full-time jobs, it's actually not any harder to wake up for jobs than it is for school. Okay, it's not any harder to drive to a job than it was to school. It's not any harder to be on time and be a professional and look people in the eye and have that firm handshake and be that professional that people are wanting to hire in the real world than it is for school. So if you can do it for 20 weeks in school and impress this team of professionals, then we have 100% confidence that you'll be impressing your full-time employers now and for years and years to come. So we look forward to watching the successes of everybody as they go forward. So what we're going to do is we're going to call each of our graduates up, introduce them, present them with their 8th and final certificate. It's important to know that each of the graduates earn specific certifications that deem them both proficient with an understanding of how to be efficient in their job. And anyone who knows anything about any type of trade or any type of piecemeal work or if you just know you make more money in a restaurant if you seat 10 tables instead of 2, you have to be efficient in anything that you do in order to rise, do well, and make a career out of it. So that's one of the things that differentiates this institution from any other auto institution that we know of in the United States, is we prioritize the efficiency of the trade so that it can be turned into maximum dollars while you're working. One thing to love the idea of becoming a professional auto technician, but if you're going to do that, we suggest that you make the most money possible while doing so, and that's why we preach and preach and preach efficiency, efficiency, and efficiency. So when you go through the 7 stages of our program, I'm glad you made it. Somebody find that young man a seat. When you get through our program, you earn 6, 7 certificates that say that you can do things like steering, suspension, and brakes, and electrical, and HVAC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that final certificate means you made it all the way through and you understand what it takes to be an efficient mechanic. There are 300 million cars on the road, and half of the technicians in the United States are retiring in the next 10 years. Let me repeat that. There are over 300 million cars on the road, and half the technicians are retiring in the next 10 years. So those who learn this trade learn it the right way and dedicate themselves for the next chunk of their career are going to be in the driver's seat in high demand as wages increase and opportunities do the same, okay? Welcome, young men. How we doing? You guys go ahead and have a seat. So the training that they have just gotten through, the field that they are about to enter, is not only exciting now, but when they look back 5, 10, 15 years from now, they're going to realize how wise this decision was in 2019 when they made it. Because the world needs mechanics. You don't have to watch the news for very long to recognize that the skilled trades are something that the world is really starting to talk about and prioritize. And they talk about the world needs plumbers, the world needs HVAC technicians, the world needs electricians, the world needs cast and die operators. And guess what every one of those single trades has in common? They all need a vehicle that is properly maintained to get to work. So I like to think of our trade as the essential trade to keeping America moving, and that's what you've all prepared yourselves to be a part of and take advantage of. So this is where the excitement begins, and that's why not only our students, but the parents and families of our students need to be commended for the decision that you've made, the decision that you supported, and we ask that you continue to support them as they begin their full-time careers, because there's a lot of things moving, changing, evolving, and getting more and more exciting as it comes to this trade. And we think that, while we don't do everything perfectly, we think we have a pretty good idea of how to prepare these young men and women to go out and be successful and have some pride and have some confidence. Because if you've ever done anything and if you were nervous about it, you do okay. But if you're really confident in what you're doing, you always do better, right? If you've ever played golf, if you know you're going to make that 3-foot putt, there's a lot better chance you're going to make it than if you're scared to death that you might miss it. Okay, so we want everybody to be confident and be proud of what they've chosen to do, and we are certainly proud of all of them. So with that, Rick, if you want to hand out the final matrix certificate, the first man that we're going to recognize overcame some adversity, had some logistical issues, but never showed up without a smile, and really became the lifeblood of this class. And we note his energy and demeanor and absolute no-holds-barred work ethic is going to serve him well. He's accepted a full-time position at Nick Mayer Ford already, and that is Mr. James Mack. Sat in the back so that applause would have to last longer than it You guys are welcome to stay up here. We'll bring everybody up. This next young man came in with his family and his grandparents and wasn't quite sure if this was for him. He kind of thought maybe, didn't know for sure. But he knew one thing, he wanted to work on Infinities if he ever had the chance. And so we looked at him and said, okay, If you come in here and bust your ASS, then we will get you to INFINITI. He did his part, and I want to congratulate this young man who is already offered a full-time job at Airport Infinity, DeAndre Gustafson. Tell Grandpa Steve I said no sweat, all right? Okay. This next young man managed to total his truck on week 4. Class ends at 1:15. I got a call that said I'm a mile away and I just absolutely blew up the rear end of somebody's car. Can you come give me a ride? I'm like, who is this? But this young man came to us with his family, and he knew he wanted to fix things and get involved with his hands and really use what we know to be a very intellectual mind to turn that into a career. He has accepted a full-time position. He's one of many of our students who will be participating in a full tuition reimbursement program, as long as he keeps working hard, shows up every day and does all the right things. With the Conrad's organization. In fact, his regional manager from Conrad's, Jeff Thompson, is here today to congratulate Antonio Vasquez. Okay. If you own stock in this company, which nobody does because it's not a public company, you would be excited about the fact that in 2020 our profits are going to soar because we're going to have to buy so less coffee creamer now that this person is graduating. It is possible to have more creamer than coffee in your coffee and still drink it, and he proved that to us 6 or 7 times a day. So I don't know what we're going to do with all that extra money, but probably just buy more coffee creamer for the next class. But this young man showed up first every day, never missed a day, was 100% dedicated. He was not a mechanic when he got here, and the going was a little slow for a minute, but he stuck with it, always had a good attitude, always asked questions, read into a poll, we made him autograph it. Right back at you, buddy. But it's going to do well because his attitude and work ethic are going to carry him far. Congratulations. This young man will be starting at the Mega Reconditioning Center for Carvana Motors up in Euclid, which is an outstanding organization for young men and women, and we have a couple Carvana employees, but congratulations to you, Marcellus Hall. Okay, this next graduate, it was not an easy road. It was a leap when she decided to get into this. She was fortunate to have the support of a good friend and a future employer, the support of some family members, and had some challenges before she joined the program. And I think for her, she would tell you that this was not a career decision, that this was a life decision, and I hate it when this happens. I just want to say that I'm very proud of the fact that she stuck it out. This wasn't easy. We purposely don't make it easy, but sometimes life gets in the way of a smooth plan. And when that happens, you got 2 choices. Get beat up or just get a little tougher. And this young lady will be going to work full-time in a small shop that does lots of unique repairs, and her skills are going to be put to use immediately. And I know that she's going to continue on the right path and do well, and we expect great things from Abby. Congratulations. Okay. One of our favorites. So every class has a smile every day. Every class has that person that when it's just one of those days, they find a way to make everybody just cheer up and realize that it could always be worse. I mean that in a good way. Always in a good mood. Always had their homework done. Always ready to learn. If we told him to climb the ladder and see what was on top, he didn't ask why that was a silly thing to do. He just started climbing the ladder. But along the way, his proficiency kept developing, and we kept being impressed with how well he was taking to the curriculum. He was very involved in making sure that his family situation was right relative to the entire house, coordinating their efforts with children and families so that when it was time for him to finally get his paid internship, he was ready to go. He secured a job with one of the more progressive dealerships in Northeast Ohio, and it's not easy to get into a company like Cleveland Ford. I happen to know their owner personally, and he runs a very, very tight ship. So in order to get a job there, you have to have it together, you have to know what you are doing, and you have to be confident. And for this young man who struggled with the language barrier, among other things, not having been exposed to much mechanical trade prior to this institution, for him to have gotten through this program and to be working where he's working, I know his family is very proud of him, we are very proud of him, and we're going to certainly miss Mr. Suk Biswa. Congratulations. Okay, this next young man, him showing up late tonight was about par for the course. This guy had car trouble, so he took the bus. Sometimes he took the skateboard from the bus stop. When life got in his way, we occasionally have a chat about sometimes life gets in your way, and then sometimes you just have to jump over life and keep running. We ask our students on day one, what are your goals, how are you going to get there, who's going to hold you accountable? And we literally make them, and I'm sure many of you know this, we make them establish on day one who it is that they really want to hold them accountable when life gets a little tough. And this was the first person that ever put his kids as the people that he wanted to do right by. And that was what made him go, I think, when it got tough. And he is also in his final stages of getting accepted at Carvana. He's worked hard to get here. He's overcome some tough days, and he's managed to do that with the Tigger in his step, not the Eeyore, and I'm proud of him. And he knows what I mean when I say that. You really came through and you got it done, Juan, so congratulations. All right, this next young man, who will also be going to Conrad's and joining Jeff and the Conrad's family. We're going to miss his guitar after 1 o'clock. He would roll in like Jimmy Page in the morning and set his guitar to the side, and some days when school got out, he'd show us what he can do. Always a very good-natured young man, extremely hard worker. I think he really earned the respect of his classmates. I know that he's earned the respect of Conrad's, and I know they're looking forward to having him go full-time. We're really going to miss somebody with this kind of positive attitude and a very, very, very nice demeanor, and always a pleasure and professional to be around. Congratulations, David. All right, so this next young man was a late addition to the class. He was enrolled at another school that sort of teaches what we teach. Found that it wasn't for him, wasn't going real well, and he was at a bit of a crossroads. Wasn't sure if this trade was going to work out for him because his first introduction, from an educational standpoint, maybe didn't go the way he expected. And so he came and sat and talked to us, and we were already 3 days into the program. And he did a couple things. He convinced Rick and I that he absolutely wanted this. We believed this when he told us that he would be the hardest working guy that we had if we just gave him a chance, and I can say that he did. okay? And more importantly, he did what he had to do to work extra, work overtime, get caught up, and when we put him in a shop for his paid internship, it was not long at all before I got a phone call and said, man, this dude can really hump. He can work, and he goes, and if this young man manages his emotions like I know he can, and keeps focused, I don't know that there's going to be anyone that can outwork him and outproduce him as a mechanic. We certainly look forward to seeing him grow and be the very best version of himself that he can be. We have all the confidence in him. Also going to work for the Infinity family at Infinity of Beechwood, right up here up the street. Congratulations to Mr. Tyrone Jackson.
Wow.
As you can see, there's no camaraderie at all. This next young man came in and he was real quiet. We weren't sure he really was into this. Then he came in with his dad and we were still not 100% sure he was all in. But he kept showing up at the appointed times. He kept being there when he needed to be. And what we found is that he really surprised us in his ability to analyze the repair, see what's coming next, and cerebrally approach this profession. And when he has a little real-world experience under his belt, this is going to be one of those guys that's going to be figuring out electrical diagnoses and some of the more complex things that this industry can throw at you. And we're really excited to see where this takes him because he's got a lot of potential. And once he gets into the flow of mixing that with the cadence of working in a shop and seeing lots of different vehicles, he's going to shine. I know he's going to shine. He's going to shine for Conrad's. You're doing well today, Jeff. We're real excited to see what you can do, Christian. Christian Freeman.
All right.
Okay. This next graduate. So Rick gets to work really early. Rick gets here at 7:15, 7:30 every day, as does Jamie. Rick sits down and he has his cup of coffee. And I'm not sure what he's going to do when on Monday this next gentleman isn't there to talk to him about the configuration of the Air Force's new B-52, or how they've re-engineered the flux capacitor for the next Michael J. Fox movie, or any other point of meaningless trivia that you ever might want to hear. Always good-natured, very smart young man. We're not going to recognize you without the neon green shirt. I tried to get him a haircut, he wouldn't listen, so he's just rocking it. But on a serious note, this young man did a paid internship and now will be going full-time with Catholic cemeteries. Some of you are saying, Catholic cemeteries? I didn't know that was a car dealership. It's not. But what they do is maintain over 10,000 burial plots throughout northeast Ohio, and that means lawnmowers and backhoes and Super Duty trucks and chainsaws and weed eaters and everything else. And when we met this young man and his mom, it became very clear to us that just doing the same thing every day might be a little boring for him. So when we had the opportunity to mesh our relationship with Catholic cemeteries with this young man, we knew that he was the kind of guy that was going to want to tinker with the chainsaw on Tuesday and a lawnmower on Wednesday and do an alignment on the boss's car, whatever it was. And he went there, and they love him over there. I think he's already part of the family. We're certainly going to miss you in our family. Ladies and gentlemen, Cole Carter. Cole. So usually when we meet the students at the school for the first time, they've taken the time to contact us, they've taken the time to return our phone call, they've filled out a form online and they get to the school. So you would assume by that point The student doesn't have more important things to do than just go and waste school's time. So you think by that point, they're pretty sure that this is an institution worth checking out. When I interviewed this lady and her husband, I felt like they were interviewing me. Like when we got done, I almost asked them if I was accepted into whatever. Okay, so, and I realize now why that was, is because this person knew that she had the ability and the work ethic and the aptitude to be outstanding in this profession. She showed it every single day. I don't know that we had anyone that was steadier, more focused, or who I think is going to be able to take this and do whatever she wants. And super proud. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Congratulations, Stacy. Okay, another young lady. I think there was a moment in her life when she was ready just to say to hell with the whole thing and get out of being a mechanic. And then she thought she might want to work on diesel. Then she thought she might want to do this or might want to do that. And she was in a period where I think she needed to know whether or not this was an all-in career for her or whether it was not. And an ironic story, her boss called me up one day and said, "Are you going to be there for a little while?" And I said, "I am." He goes, "Okay, I'm bringing somebody down. I want her in your school." Okay, that doesn't happen very often. But when you get a phone call like that, you know that you're talking to somebody who's serious about somebody that they think is serious. And when we met this young lady, we realized that she was serious. And then she too was kind of trying us on her sides because she had done a semester at another automotive school and she wasn't getting out of it what she felt she was putting into it. And we felt totally different to her than where she had been. And I don't know that we or she knew whether or not that was good or bad, but it was definitely different. It was definitely smaller, more private in nature. But we promised her some hands-on, real training, and that we would push her as hard as she would let us push her. And her deal with her boss was that if she held up her end, she would go very, very far. And there's no doubt that she's going to. She'll be going full-time for one of the Penske dealerships, Honda of Mentor. I've got a feeling she'll be flat rate sooner than she even wants to. And I know she'll perform against that and do very, very well. Congratulations and thank you, Rebecca. Okay. This gentleman came in early and needed to figure out what he was going to do. He was working at a parts store and kind of thought maybe being a mechanic was for him. Had checked out a couple other opportunities, couldn't find anything that was clicking. Had the good fortune of having a little bit of money stocked away to spend on an education, so he was taking very seriously what he did with those dollars because he wanted a return on investment and he wanted to do something that he loved and cared about, and took the leap with us, I think on a handshake deal that said, if you really bring it every day, we can turn you into something really special, because we knew right away that he had the aptitude and the demeanor and the ability to focus and work with his hands. And he did nothing but impress us every day, stayed cool as a cucumber, never got too rattled, but man, can he get through a job. And he just keeps chugging through every job, and he does it right, and he's going to be a great professional in this field, and we look forward to watching him grow. He too, in addition to the other 13 people that we just announced, is already secured a full-time job. His is with Ganley Subaru in Wickliffe, and congratulations. We look forward to big things from Grant Manning.
Trash.
So that's the whole class, and we're going to get into 5 special awards that we do that are unique to the school, and then we'll have some closing remarks, we'll have some cake, and you can either tour the school or you can go home and get ready for Halloween, because we know everybody's probably got a late night tomorrow night too, so I'll try to be quick with this. But I think that it deserves one more mention. We had 14 people start 20 weeks ago. Not only did they all graduate, every single one of them has a full-time job ready for them before we didn't do that, they did. You know, they kept their eye on the prize. So as you all know, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to do it. So if you noticed in the main classroom, we have 5 signs that we keep up in the school. And we try to keep it simple, we try not to overcomplicate things, but those 5 words really embody everything that we preach. Because if you can understand and observe the meaning behind those 5 words, at least the way that we define them, you're going to be successful in life and you're going to get through the hard times and you're going to succeed in the good times. And those words are grit, and the definition of grit, at least in our school, is made up of hustle, passion, and perseverance. Execution. Our definition is stop talking and just do the work. All right, just get it done. Limitless. Infinite possibilities come to those who believe, is the way we define limitless. Talent means nothing without hard work, is the way that we define talent. And hustle, we just simply call that the most important word ever. So every time we graduate a class, we take those words and our instructors get together, and this doesn't happen in an hour, this happens over the course of a week or 2, and they really talk about it, because our only rule is we're only going to give out 5, and while there are other students in this class that are deserving of some of these awards, these 5 individuals are the ones that we finally landed on as the most deserving. And I think it's important to understand that things like attendance, attitude, okay, willingness to step in front of the line, hustle, teamwork. You don't get on this list if you don't automatically do those, right? So that is just a prerequisite for even being considered, okay? Everybody up here, I could give you a few reasons why they could be deserving, but these 5 individuals were just a notch above, and in some cases really stood out, and that's why they will have their names when we get the plaques, now that we have multiples, underneath these awards in this school. So when they come back, someday they'll meet the other person that won the Grit Award and the other person that won the Hustle Award. So we really look forward to building on that, and that's just our little matrix thing, but it means a lot to us. So I'll start with the Grit Award, again, made up of hustle, passion, and perseverance. If this class were to vote right now on who their class captain or spokesperson, when they want to complain about something, would really be the way that I define it. Or somebody who was going to walk into the room first, if we were about to throw down, this is the guy that would walk in first. And he is naturally a leader, whether he realizes it or not. His smile and positivity are going to carry him to places in life that if he backs that up with the kind of work and talent that we know he is capable of, he's going to go as far as he wants to go. We're very proud this year's Grit Award winner, Mr. James Mack. These guys also have a certificate that has a color-imposed picture of the sign of the award that so frame that and put it in a good spot, James. Okay, the next award, execution. Execution is very important because you have to execute to get something done. But the real meat of the word execution is don't talk about it, just do it. Right? Stop talking about it and get it done. Execute. And this person literally sweat every day. And it's not like it's a race back there. You only sweat during class back there if you're going harder than everybody else and you're trying to do it as efficiently and quickly without rushing as you can so that you can be prepared to do that in a shot. So the level of intensity that it takes to outwork everybody in the class most days from a physical exertion effort, which means you want it. This young man wears his emotions on his sleeves, and that can be the best part about him, and it can be the worst part about him.
Yeah.
Just like we all could say the best part about us can sometimes be the worst part about us if we get carried away, right? I think sometimes alcohol does that. But when this young man gets focused, and he keeps it between the lines, and he keeps his eye on the prize, this guy's capable of working on a NASCAR pit crew someday. He's that fast, he works that hard, he's going to be that good, and that's Mr. Tyrone Jackson. Almost there. Okay, limitless.
I'm sorry. There you go. There you go.
Limitless. Infinite possibilities come to those who believe. Okay, we are all our own worst enemy at times, and so we have to ignore the noise and do what we do, what we love to do, what we know that we can do. And sometimes just staying centered on that is the difference between okay and good, and the difference between good and great. When it comes to limitless, we look at somebody who believes in themselves, does not get distracted, keeps their eye on the goal, and that we know has the ability to be phenomenal in the industry, and literally the only thing that could ever stop this person from achieving her wildest goals would be herself, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I know that her support staff is there for her. This year's Limitless Award goes to Stacy Rutelli. See what I mean about there? He's too excited Okay, our talent award. Everybody in this group is talented, there's no doubt. We like to think that we don't accept them if they're not talented. So talent, as we define it, means nothing without hard work. So what we try to do is give this award to the most talented combination of hard work and drive with goals, and I know that this person's boss expects her to run a service department someday, not just work in one, okay? Anticipates that she will manage people one day, not work for them. She's loaded with talent, and when her game face is on, I would hire her any day of the week, as with anybody here at Matrix. We're really excited to see what she's going to do. Congratulations, Rebecca. Okay, hustle. Our definition of hustle is simple, the most important word ever. This guy gets into a job and he doesn't come up for air until it's done. He's meticulous, he is calculated, he is not afraid to get beat up and bruised if that's what the job takes. I've spoken to his boss throughout the course of the internship, and he simply said, if you can clone him, I'll take all of them. You might not notice it from his demeanor because he's pretty low-key, but when it comes to the trade and to the profession, this guy is a down-and-dirty hustler. He's going to be awesome. He's going to take this very far, and we got all the confidence in the world in you, Mr. Grant Manning. Yes. like I said, anybody up here had an argument for being considered with these awards. So let's give them all one more round. So if you ever have 5 minutes of your life and you want to watch something really cool and motivational, and if you're old enough like me to have seen the Terminator movies, YouTube Arnold Schwarzenegger motivational speech. It's about a 4-minute video where Arnold, as the governor of California, addresses a graduating class, and it's one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen. And I encourage you all to just go to YouTube, Google Arnold motivational speech, it'll come up. What I'm going to do is summarize the 5 points that he makes in that speech, not even close to as well as he does. So these are not my words, but they are very fitting, and we like to end with this. The first thing he says, and I speak to you guys when I say this, is have a vision. Okay, know what you want to do and see it, because you're not going to get there if you can't see it, right? So start right now and decide where you're going to end up and work towards that always. And if you don't stop to picture yourself being successful where you want to end up, then you can't fault anyone for you not getting there, because you have to see it first. So have a vision, write it down somewhere, fold it up and know where it is, all right? Number 2, think big. There's no reason that you can't be whatever you want to be, and no goal is too large. The only goal that you don't obtain is the one that you don't set. So don't be afraid to be bold and think big as you decide what you're going to do with what you've learned over the last 20 weeks for the rest of your life. Number 3, ignore the naysayers. And when he says it, it's like, ignore the naysayers. There are going to be people your first day on the job who think you're the new guy or the new gal. And that person might be a pain in the butt. And then year 2, there's going to be that other person that tells you all the reasons why you can't realize your vision and why maybe you shouldn't think big. And all I ask that you do to them is politely walk by and act like they don't exist, because they don't matter. That is easier said than done, but it is something that we all have to do in our lives as we pursue the goals that we set for ourselves. Because the easiest thing to do in the world is to say no or tell somebody that they can't. But the people that ignore those kinds of people and just keep plugging, they win just because most of the other people don't, okay? So ignore the naysayers. Watch how you work to be the example for how they work. Give back to the people that will look up to you and give them the confidence, the pride, and that extra push so that they can realize their goals. Because whether you realize it or not, there are young people looking at you right now that are saying, wow, that's how I want to be. So giving back starts with setting an example and recognizing when you run into someone who's a little lost, who can go this way or that way, don't be afraid to put your arm around them like somebody did to you and give them the advice that's as simple as what we've talked about tonight. Work hard, do the right thing, care about what you do, because if you do all those things, you will be successful. So congratulations to you all. Come get some